position, coming to meet in a downward dog. Now we're going to be here for a couple of minutes, so don't rush getting into this position. Yoga is not about checking off as many postures as we can do. It's really about connecting body and mind, and we do that by connecting with the breath. So once you find and once you land in the pose, of course you check your alignment, palms are at shoulders width, fingers are spread out nice and wide. Try to really push the tin knuckles into the mat, and then keep those feet at hips width. Taking those eyes to look past your inner thighs and take a couple more breaths here. Slow, deep in and out through the nose. Before you start to add some movement, okay, whether it's swaying the hips from side to side, maybe you're inhaling the heels as high as you can and then grounding them down toward the mat, pulsing the chest palate toward your thigh bones. Okay, whatever you're doing, just really allow yourself to enjoy the stretch, enjoy the pose. We're going to be going through a Sun Salutation B today, so just really give yourself the time right now to just stretch out the back fascial plane. Try to soften through your shoulders so they're not hiking up toward the ears. You're here for about 3 more breaths before we move on. So we're going to come into our classic Sun B, where we add the chair pose, and then once we go through our flow set, we get into that warrior one. Start to bend at the knees, look to the top of the mat, walk or jump your feet up, palms to the shins, inhale a flat spine, exhale a forward fold. Roll up your spine vertebrae by vertebrae. And when you find your stand, inhale the arms up toward the ceiling, taking a slight back bend, taking the palms to prayer in front of the heart. Exhale. Bending at the knees, and we're coming into our first chair. Now, before we get into a quick flow, you're just going to hang out here for a little bit first, getting your alignment in place. So if you look down toward the top of the mat, you should still see the big toes in the peripheral. If the knees are covering them, let's kick the bum back and then take the hips a little lower. Engage through that pelvic floor, and then again, just pull the belly in and back a little bit. You can keep the palms at prayer. Now for women, chair pose is a lot more comfortable with the feet at hips width because of the structure of the hips. For men, maybe feet a little bit closer together will be more comfortable for you. Let's start to reach the arms forward. Now, it's your option if you want to come into this position, or arms up to the ceiling, or maybe keeping the palms to prayer when we start to get into our flow. So do what feels more natural for you. We're going to start on your next inhale, coming into your forward fold, exhale. Take the palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Walk or jump your feet back. Hold for 2 breaths in a high plank. And for the first one, knees, chest, chin, slowly lower down. Upward dog, uncurl the toes on an inhale. Squeeze your glutes. Downward dog, exhale, reaching the hips high. Take 3 breaths here, pushing the mat firmly away from you. Now that high plank to low you could always do without dropping the knees, but again, I'll leave that to you. Let's inhale the right leg up toward the ceiling, nice and high, stepping that foot in between the palms and dropping the back knee. Again, first one, you're hanging out here a little bit longer before we start to go into a 1 breath per movement, and you're making sure your alignment is there. So make sure that foot isn't so far back that the knee is going like a couple of inches past. You want to try to keep the shin parallel to the top of the mat to protect the joint. From there, keep that tailbone tucked. You'll feel an automatic engagement and stretch through your left inner thigh. And you can either stay here when we start to come into our flow, or you're welcome to take the arms up. Okay, so the first 2 full rounds, we're going to come into this lunge, and then we build it and come into our classic warrior one. Okay, so this being the first round. Taking one more breath. High plank pose. Flush it out. High to low. Your version. Just make sure you move with your breath. Down dog for 2. We're going to go to the other side right away. Let's inhale your left leg up. Deep runner's lunge. Stepping that foot forward. Hanging out here. And just easing our body into our Sun Salutation B. So take a few deep breaths, especially if you had a long work day. Maybe you were sitting all day. So a little bit of this movement is perhaps already feeling good, but maybe you're also feeling a little creaky in the body. So just give yourself some time with the breath to find that length. Take just a few more counts here. Eyes can look to the top of the mat, still finding length in through your spine. And then slowly ground the palms down, high plank. Inhale before you exhale, cycle through. Ensuring the elbows stay close to the body when you cycle. They're not bending toward the outsides of the mat. Let's bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump your feet. Take your palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Chair pose, inhale 3 breaths. Now again, wherever the arms feel comfortable, that's where you're going to land. Taking an inhale, forward fold, exhale. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. High plank, you could take an extra breath there and then cycle it out, keeping your core tightly engaged, and always getting that glute squeeze on that up dog to protect the lower back. Second round, inhale the right leg up, deep runner's lunge for the last time, 2 breaths, maybe the arms come up, or maybe you stay grounded. High plank, take that breath in, and then exhale to cycle through. Now be mindful that you're breathing in and out of the nose at this time to create heat in the body. Left leg reaches nice and high. Deep runner's lunge, opposite side for 2 breaths. Let's balance the right and left side body. High plank on that inhale. Flush it out. Down dog for 2 breaths. Now going forward, we're going to start to explore that warrior one. Bend the knees, look forward, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump your feet. Flat back, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold, right away. Flat back, inhale. High plank, and go ahead, cycle it out. If you've got lots of energy, you could add a couple of push-ups, or you could do 2 vinyasa flushes back to back. Right leg up to the ceiling, stepping it in between the palms, dropping the back heel. You're rooting down in order to rise up, coming into warrior one. Hips and shoulders are squared off toward the top of the mat. Your feet are like standing on train tracks, and you're going deeper into the right knee. You should be a little bit more warmed up to find closer to the depth of the pose. First one, we're holding a little longer, and then we'll slowly build toward a 1 breath per movement. Weight on the outsteps of the feet, okay? Inhale the eyes up, palms to the ground, high plank. You can add your variation or a classic flush, and then we're meeting back in a downward dog. Good, left leg up to the ceiling. Step that foot forward. Warrior one. Weight is again on the outsteps of the feet. Finding that engagement in through the quads. Go deeper into the lunge. Do your best to pull that left hip bone back. And then finding your focal point with the eyes. You're here for just a couple more breaths. Make a mental note of how the body feels and how it should be aligned when we start to increase our pace. Take the eyes to look up, inhale, palms to the ground, high plank. Take your version, flush it out, squeezing your glutes tightly on that upward dog, down dog reset, 2 breaths. In and out of the nose, let's maintain the heat. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, walk or jump your feet. Flat back, inhale, forward fold, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in. Right away, forward fold, breathe out. Flat back, inhale. High plank, take an extra breath in, and then cycle it out. Keeping the crease of the elbows, the inner arms facing one another. Inhale the right leg up to the ceiling, warrior 1. Arms come up, take 1 more breath, arms come down. High plank pose, we're speeding it up, cycle it out. At any point that you need to rest, listen to your body and please do so. Left leg up to the ceiling, warrior 1. Shin is parallel to the top of the mat. You're here for an extra breath. Palms to the ground, high plank. Cycle it out. 2 breaths, down dog. Good. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump your feet. Flat back, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Forward fold, exhale. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Flat back, inhale. High plank to low. Now we're going to truly get into a 1 breath per movement. From your downward dog, right away, right leg comes up. Warrior 1. Inhale the arms. Exhale the palms down. High plank to low, maybe you could hover that right leg up in space. From down dog, left leg comes up. Step that foot forward, warrior 1. Exhale, palms touch down. High plank, maybe that leg lifts. Good. Cycle it through. Down dog, bend the knees, look forward, walk or jump your feet. Flat back, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Chair pose, inhale, hold. Let's catch our breath a little. Let's fire up through your core. Take the hips a little lower. And then lift up your heels. We're going to do 1 more full cycle. And then we'll let the body cool down. Good, heels down, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Flat back, inhale. High plank, maybe a few push-ups. And then cycle it out. 2 breaths in, down dog. Okay, let's just do 1 more. Okay, inhale the right leg up. Warrior 1. Arms up, arms back down right away. High plank. Flush it out. Go to dry breath all the way. Left leg up. Step that foot forward. Drop the back heel. Arms come up for a breath. Arms touch down. And you're moving through your flow. Down dog, 2 breaths to reset. Inhale through the nose. Out of the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump your feet up. Flat back, breathe in. Forward fold, exhale. Chair pose for 3. Holding chair for 2. This time stand up, arms up, palms to prayer, exhale. Shoulders up to the earlobes, inhale. Out of the mouth. Again, shoulders up. Walk the feet to the middle of the mat. However you're facing, take the arms up to the ceiling, interlace the fingers, letting go of the index and cross the thumbs. Big toes together to touch now. And cooling down. Inhale, find a focus point. Lengthen. Tuck the tailbone. Exhale to your right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to your left. Good. Inhale. To the right, hold. You're here for 5. Roll that left shoulder blade back. 4, pull the right hip back, engage your core. 3, go a little deeper, soften your toes. 2, glue those palms. Inhale up to center, over to the left for 5. Same thing, shoulder of the right comes back. 4, pull the right hip back, left hip forward. 3, glue the palms, go deeper, tuck the tailbone. 2, lengthen and breathe. Inhale up to center, palms to prayer, exhale, good job. Palms to your lower back, eyes to the ceiling, look up, and just lean the upper body back. Take a few breaths here. The palms are supporting the back. Keep lifting the chest up. Soften your shoulders down. Slowly release the posture and simply just lower down onto the knees. Take a moment to let the remainder of the cool down settle. Palms are just resting on your thighs. Maybe you're sitting on a block. Maybe if you want to get into a stretch, you can open up the heels a little more so the bum comes right down, potentially touching the mat. We're here for about 30 seconds. Keeping your spine upright, close your eyes. And taking those breaths in and out of the nose. Good, shaking your head from side to side. If there's lots of tension in through the neck, the next time the right ear comes to the right shoulder, hold. Create a part in the lips and just take breaths in through the nose, out of the mouth. Switching sides, lick the lips, swallow the excess saliva, and then just do your best to keep your shoulders square, relaxed, breathing in through the nose, and again out of the mouth. Grabbing a little bit of water if you need it. If you still like shaking your head out or nodding the head up and down, feel free to do that. And preparing for your next add-on sequence by coming into that child's pose to rest and recalibrate.